We
Well,
all
all
started
right.
bobbing our heads.
All right, folks. welcome in. And it's good to have you. Script Doctor's in the chat, but unfortunately, he cannot be here, at least not right now. Maybe he can randomly jump in a second.
He's pulling to me. He's showing up late to the party. Extenuating circumstances.
Yeah. Going to try to get our special guest, Geek in Disguise, in here shortly. I got a message out to him, so as soon as he makes his way in, we'll get him in. But until then,
But wait, there's more.
We have the lovely Rosetta. Hey, Mark, good to see you, buddy. And we have Brian the Gravedigger finally showing his face on cam, which is like amazing. You know,
yeah, I'm the nicest person you'll never meet.
Can't beat this guy with his leading man looks over here. You know, you got to wonder why he hasn't cammed up before this. But hey, you know,
there's times when I'm only on the iPad.
There's something
I got the laptop fixed now.
Something to be said for the shy man. There you go. So pretty much tonight, guys, we've got a lot of different stuff to talk about. I mean, obviously, Star Wars is fresh on everybody's mind, and we'll cover that shortly. But starting off with BSG stuff, there still isn't too much going on. I know SD, if he hears anything, he usually lets me know, and pretty much it's kind of status quo right now. Mum's the word on the new BSG series, so they obviously haven't made any changes or casting issue, anything like that. No casting news, and I think with the guy finishing up Mr. Robot, he's probably taking a quick break in between to shift gears and get started on this new show. So again, like we said last week, like Script Doctor said, there's probably going to not be casting news for a little while yet. So we're in a kind of a little holding period about it. So I figured to kind of like touch on the BSG topic, being that it's Halloween, I figured I would sort of bring up, so if somebody was watching BSG and you wanted a good one-off and something that kind of gave you the Halloween feels, then I highly suggest that you pick up, the Blu-ray or DVD or watch it on demand somewhere online and get from the 2004 series. There's a season 2 episode called Valley of Darkness, and that's a good one because it shows some really cool scenes, and especially when the Galactichat gets boarded by Centurions, and it gets really kind of like scary Halloween-y type, sort of like psychological terror type of deal, because you've got the tight corridors and you've got the Centurions chasing the humans, and you don't know where they're at, and you can kind of see it from that perspective. So that's pretty neat. And that episode to me has always kind of had a little bit of a sort of Halloweenish type feel to it. So definitely, if you get a chance, if you're a BSG fan, season 2 of the 2004 show, Valley of Darkness, there you go. Make sure that you watch it. It's season 2, episode 2. And then if you want to watch the one before it, Scattered, just to give you some context, I mean, that's good too. But really and truly, if you want the actual Halloween feel, just watch Valley of Darkness. It works as a one-off as well. So I don't know. You have thoughts on that, Brian?
I really liked that episode. It's one of my favorites. I mean, my top favorite is the dance, but because that's actually based in truth, which most of the military stuff they used was based in truth.
Yeah.
But I liked it gave a very claustrophobic need, and It was very well written. That's one of the things I'll always give the whole
Yeah, the whole show was.
yeah the whole show.
Absolutely.
But just the pacing and the timing and the Centurion's boarding was insane.
Hey, and there is our special guest.
Yay! What's up, geek?
All right, what up?
Oh, I'm over here today.
Yeah, what's going on there, Mike?
Hang on a second. I'm doing all right. There we go. Let's switch that. There we go. Yeah.
We're glad to have you.
Battlestar Galactica. Whew.
Yeah, so we were just talking about we're just going over, since there's really no news this week with stuff for the new show. It was just kind of going over, like, since it's getting really close to Halloween, we've got Halloween in 7 days. We were talking about what would be like a good, have that Halloween feel type episode of the 2000 series. And I said, if you go into season 2 of the 2004 show, there is an episode. It's episode 2 of season 2, and that's Valley of Darkness. And it was really awesome because that's the one where you see that was also the first appearance of the Cylon Heavy Raider, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question, Drew, on that real quick, because I've kind of told everybody I didn't really see that because of college and life in general at that time and being broke.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to go back and set up to watch it, and Brian helped me figure out where I can watch that. But if I skipped ahead to that after I watched the start of it, would that actually screw up any of the storyline?
You're going to wonder a lot. You're going to have too many questions. Kind of.
Yeah. That's
what I was kind of concerned with on that.
Well, it's really going to be a more of how they got here, why are they in this situation? But because you're at the beginning of the second season, I wouldn't suggest skipping any of it. Well, it's
there's very important events in the first season.
A lot of juxtaposition.
Yeah,
okay. Then that's fine, because I kind of turned Halloween into a couple months celebration more than any other holiday, anyways. So I can always do that all the way up to Thanksgiving.
Yeah. It's a season, dang it!
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Queen.
October in its entirety is like my Halloween. I worked in the haunted attraction business for like 13 years, and
jump on my stream.
And the good thing is like, as soon as October hits, man, I'm just in that mode where it's just like, October is like my favorite time of year for that reason.
You remember last time you bragged about working in the haunted stuff? I scared you on my stream.
Well, yeah, you were you're always a brat, though. We know this. The entire panel knows this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We've had our disagreements, but we work together.
I'm an angel. I don't know what you're talking about.
Get out of here.
Hey, Lucifer was an angel too, darling.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Thank you, Brian. But yeah, for those of you out there that are wondering about it, obviously, if you're new to the 2000s BSG, watch it in its entirety. But if you get the chance, and you can just single out one episode if you want the really good kind of like psychological terror feel, Valley of Darkness works. So you can watch that and you'll have a ball with it. But yeah, that's pretty much the BSG stuff for the evening, because I knew we didn't have a whole lot this week. We're not really going to have a whole lot until we get the details about the new show.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad, I can geek out and Brian knows, because he knows the episodes and ins and outs just as good as I do. Did you see the 2000s BSG, Mike?
No. I've actually got some catching up to do. Apparently, I just found out that Sam Esmail's doing a reboot. The guy from Mr. Robot.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be in charge of the new show. So
Yeah.
That's going to be, but
let's hope it doesn't get too weird.
yeah, well, they're doing that on the new NBC streaming service when that goes live. It's called Peacock, which still makes me laugh. But yeah, when that goes live, they're going to be doing it on that, and that's going to be one of the flagship shows for the streaming service. So. Definitely, it's going to be based in the 2004 universe, like the canon, though. So, like, I would still suggest for anybody watch the 2004 Battlestar Galactica for sure.
Oh yeah, and another quick tip: if you're trying to get into the 2004 series, you can skip the miniseries if you're watching it on Prime because the miniseries is covered during the first seasons. They kind of incorporated it.
Yeah, they do. They do pretty good job of covering the details of the miniseries without having to watch it. So that's not too bad. But yeah, that's pretty much what we have on BSG at the moment. So now we will move on to the next thing, which is oh boy, we had the Star Wars trailer a few days ago, and I'm sure everybody by now has seen like
The train wreck.
half of YouTube has reaction videos up.
Yeah, it's so trending. It's so hot right now.
There was even
So hot.
there was even that guy, the like never ending enthusiasm guy that did a reaction.
Eric Butt.
I am with the, if he likes it,
I love Eric Butt.
Let him enjoy what he enjoys. The people who attack him need to leave him alone.
Oh, I'm not.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm saying because I've seen some of those, and just leave him alone.
Look,
He's enjoying it being nice.
That guy
He's
rose
cool.
like a phoenix through the adversity of the first turmoil, man. That guy got taken to the laundromat the first time around. Like,
And he seems like a really sweet guy.
he's a cool dude, man. He is.
Well,
I called him
also,
off and on.
Well, I sent him a tweet, just a little while ago. Matter of fact, I told him I was like, sir, you have the enthusiasm and the joy that probably the whole fandom wishes they could have, but there's just a lot of people that dislike Star Wars in the Disney era. So keep on keeping on, dude.
I am the odd man out
Absolutely.
with him in that market because I actually I'm not dogging it, but I was a fan of the EU. I read most of the books. X-Wing Commander was my favorite, but I'm also such a bibliophile that I've had so many stories that I loved. I saw get I'm not gonna say wrecked, but warped, I guess would be a better word
I'd
from
say
what it
wrecked
was.
on a lot of these.
Yeah.
I'd say wrecked on a lot of these. I mean, just
Well, I
completely
think
train wrecked.
a lot of people when they're able to, if they're even willing to, but if you go back and you watch 7, 8, 9, kind of like if you watch all three of the Lord of the Rings, if you watch them as a whole, it's gonna be it's almost like one giant ass movie.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Well, because it was filmed
There's
back
the
to
right
back, and it
Yeah.
was they filmed it in one big sitting and then chopped it up.
I'm
It
sorry,
was-
Brian. I just had to take that opportunity since you said giant ass movie. It's like ass movie. That's what I'd call it.
I respect everybody's opinion. I'm always about. I love to hear what everybody thinks because who knows, I may be in the wrong.
Again,
But
one of my moderators that streams with me all the time is a fan of the Disney ones, and I'm fine with him. I don't have to agree with him, but for
One of
me,
the
I
things-
just think they look horrible.
one of the things that surprised me about it was it looks like it's really close to the Jedi Paxis Reddit leak of the plot,
Yeah.
and it doesn't bother me. I could care, but like everybody knows right now, they're still doing reshoots, and I think Script Doctor was the one who pointed out the fact that there's a reason why we're not seeing much marketing, and that's because a lot of the marketing budget is going to go to actually funding it. But
Yeah.
I feel bad for the movie theaters with how they're going to get hit over the head with Disney's demands.
Genesis
yeah.
made a good point right there. The EU was treated like an unwanted redheaded stepchild, and yeah, to a large degree, the stuff from the EU was. I know back when Lucas was in charge, he didn't necessarily care for it. He tolerated it, but didn't necessarily care for it.
Yeah, he always treated it like fanfic.
I mean, there was some stuff that he liked, obviously, but for the most part, he just disregarded it. So the EU for me, I guess by proxy, I'm a fan of the EU because I mostly liked. There were a few of the novels I liked, but I was more on the game side of stuff that I liked.
Yep.
There was a lot of Star Wars games I played, like Dark Forces and stuff like that, Republic Commando, things of that nature that had stories that technically were categorized as EU, and I like that. And then of course, I'm a huge Old Republic fan, so that is my area of the EU that I love.
Coder.
All the KOTOR stuff, all the Star Wars: The Old Republic stuff. I love that stuff. So that's my jam right there. So
I kind of have to admit my favorite EU book was. Sorry, I couldn't hear you until I started there, but my favorite EU book was always Courtships of Princess Leia, and it's really funny because it was one of my favorite books for a long time. And when I was in Job Corps, it got stolen, and my family found out, and I got like 10 of them as gifts from everyone trying to replace it for me.
Well, I had I actually liked the recent few years ago they came out with that Revan novel. I liked that Revan book. That Revan book to me was actually good. There were a lot of people that said, "Oh, the Revan novel isn't that great," but I liked it. Because it kind of gave you like some backstory, some insight about his life with Bastila and all that stuff. It was pretty awesome, but I liked it. Some people didn't, but that's cool. You're like kind of an EU guy, right, Mike?
No,
No,
I'm not. I never really got into the EU. I'm not really a Star Wars fan per se. I've seen all the movies. I've played a few of the games. I actually like a few of the games, but I never really dove into the EU, man. That was, but rolling in certain circles now, it's like something I'm gonna have to start picking up. It seems because I feel third wheel, fourth wheel.
No, it's all
It's okay, Mike. I'm always odd man out.
And stuff. I just
I got mad respect to anybody that likes science fiction in general, man. Whether you like Star Wars, whether you like Star Trek, whether you like PSG, whatever you like, whatever's your stuff. Mm-hmm. Hey, I get it because
sci-fi nerds unite because there's a lot to those two realms intermingling.
Yeah, I just like sci-fi shit in general, man.
So here's a quick question: do y'all feel like metahumans and like superhumans fall under sci-fi? Or is that more fantasy?
Depends on how they occurred, because sci-fi is based in technology and futuristic, and sci-fantasy is based in mythological and supernatural. So if it occurred through some sort of mythological anomaly, it would be sci-fantasy. If it occurs within technologically being done, genetic engineering and stuff, it would be sci-fi.
So the Flash sci-fi.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was thinking because he got his from the lightning bolt with the mix of chemicals that altered his genetic.
Yeah, he's definitely more into the sci-fi edge. Yes.
Well, like I was talking to Drew and Rosetta earlier about I went through and I kind of binge watched Raising Dion, and like the way those metahumans kind of evolved, it was a asteroid, without spoiling too much. And that kind of brought that thought up to me. I'm like, okay, is this sci-fi or is it really just fantasy?
If it really was just an asteroid, but they didn't connect alien or technology or stuff to how it happened, it would fit more with sci-fantasy.
Well, without
but if there was a lot of technology intermingled, it would be kind of a cross of the two.
without spoiling too much, there's a lot of science that goes on in the show,
Yeah. Well, science
and
is a part
they
of all,
get into
so
the they get into the
how they believe.
biology of what happens
Yeah,
to
it
the
would
characters.
depend. I'd have to look at it. It sounds like it's more of a cross of both.
Yeah, I mean you'll have that too. Like, you know, certain shows will have it where it kind of delves into both. And then then you have a show like, for example, like back in I guess 90s, early 2000s, you know, Highlander, that was fantasy straight up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there was no technology to that. That was just fantasy mythological creatures cutting each other's heads off. Let's be real.
You know, yeah, that was pretty much, you know,
I have a lot of those novels too, actually.
other than crossing into other than the movies like Highlander 2 tried to do this cheesy sort of sci-fi crossover.
Oh,
That didn't work.
like a Blade Runner ripoff. So I feel about it.
Yeah,
All the red.
But
Yeah.
but I mean, other than that, like yeah, the TV show was definitely fantasy.
Yeah, Script is exactly right in the chat there that He-Man and Masters of the Universe are a bit of both sci-fi and sci-fantasy because they were a species.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was part of how they evolved and all that, but it was technological too. They were dealing with aliens.
I like SD's moniker there, sci fantasy. I'm gonna have to run with that. I'm
Yes.
stealing it.
Well, sci-fantasy is what sci-fan is. It's the
Well, I'd never heard of it before.
it's actually the realm I dip more into, which is that's what deals with dragons, mythology, history, mermaids, all that stuff.
Okay.
That's my realm more, actually. As much as a nerd sci-fi girl as I am, I like sci-fan more.
Yeah, like I said, you know, you have this conversation across the whole fandom, you'll get like so many different opinions because, you know, there's so much crisscross in the genre, to be honest. But you know, all of us pretty much agreed, you know, that no matter what actual like show or movie or whatever is your favorite, like it's just, you know, oh man, sci-fi is so awesome, you know. So
yeah, it's a great way to I think for me because it's based in reality. Like you can actually believe it's real, you know.
I think really good sci-fan and sci-fiction both can really intermingle with what's real and what's well established as reality already. And going back to what we were talking about with the Star Wars, that's one of the moments that really threw me for that trailer is the way he was holding his freaking lightsaber with his fingers against the red like that, because you would never do that with a broadsword style blade. You would cut your fingers off. And so it instantly pulls me to what the crap moment.
Hey, but it also shows his control.
No.
Like he's that comfortable with wielding that ungodly saber.
No, I would have cut his fingers off. This is
that's like everybody complaining about his shoulder tackle.
Well, I'm a fencing nerd, and literally, you can actually look, if you look closely, his fingers are like right against the blade. There's no way that wouldn't have injured him.
Oh, I mean, come on, they were able to bring Darth Vader back from being just a torso. I mean, I'm sure his gloves might be burn proof. Shoot me if I'm wrong, but I mean that's the thing, is we can all take it the own way. But it shows a bit of like a bit of the dark side with his anger and using the Force. How he's not showing control over the way he's doing things.
I just wish they would have enough of a fencing expert that they would avoid the really cliche moments that are kind of hard to look at and take serious.
Yeah.
And be a little more well done. Because I'm obsessed with fencing. I have been since I was like 5, trying to reenact the scenes out of Princess Bride as a kid. So
yeah.
I've been studying fencing my whole life. So I look at that and go, crap? What the crap
My
is
name
that?
is Rosetta Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Until my sister put a tent pole through my lip. But yes, we tried.
I gave a piercing with the bottle rocket once.
We tried to reenact the fight scene with metal tent poles, and she tripped, and I got one through the lip. It cut a big hole out and chipped 3 teeth behind it.
And
I still learned defense after that. It didn't stop me. So
So just funny enough, how disturbing would it be if they actually ever did a live action Beavis and Butthead movie?
Man, I had the perfect cast for that too, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious, man. Bill Hader and John Heater is Beavis and Butthead.
Can
Yep.
we
Jonah Hill is
admit-
Stewart.
agree that there's a bits and pieces of Jay and Silent Bob that are kind of that?
Yeah.
There is, but Beavis and Butthead be funny, man.
Matthew McConaughey is the dude with the glasses, the
Hank?
older bully. No,
Oh,
the
yeah.
older bully that drives around with the blue tank top, drinking the beer.
So
Who
who do you think
about-
would be who do you think would play early Hank Hill?
Yeah, who would be Daria?
Aubrey Plaza.
Daria. Oh Lord, yeah, that would work.
The
Hmm.
guy.
She's
brain
definitely got the awkward for it.
the guy from Parks and Rec, Nick.
Nick Offerman?
Yes, for Hank Hill.
See, like, he seems like he's not old enough though, with the way they played Hank in Beavis and Butthead.
Here, a large fry, large coffee. You don't like it, buddy?
Yeah.
Them boys are out in my shed again.
Like, I'm telling you, man, Bill Hader and John Heater as freaking
That would be
Beavis and
perfect.
Butthead would be perfect.
Heads are gonna roll if I don't get my lucky ball back.
I'm glad other people remember the off episodes.
Oh man, dude, that shit was great, man. The one where they put the poodle in the dryer or whatever, washing the dog.
Dog, washing the dog, washing the dog.
That was so great, dude.
We were just watching Beavis and Butthead Do America the other day.
That's a good movie. I actually like that movie.
Do any of y'all follow Go with Kel?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think earlier today when he was doing his exposure stream, that's one of the reasons I jumped in, because he was playing Love Roller Coaster by Red Hot Chili Peppers from the Beavis and Butthead movie, or Beavis and Butthead Do
Nice.
America. And I was like, oh man, I got to jump in and catch it. But I was a little too late. He'd already switched to somebody else. But I was like, dude, that song just always takes me back to the 90s right there.
Yeah, man, Beavis and Butthead would, like, a live action would be like disturbing and funny at the same time. But yeah, to get back on topic though, like for the Star Wars stuff, like, oh man, there was so much stuff out of that trailer I could nitpick. You know,
Like, see, that's what man.
Hey, I just because I'm enjoying it doesn't mean y'all can't destroy it. Go for it.
Go ahead, Mike.
As the normie as I call myself when it comes to Star Wars, because my son's a big Star Wars fan, so I watch all the movies with him. My brother's big Star Wars fans. That's what they grew up with.
Yeah, for me, it's a family thing.
I didn't really get into space sci-fi until a lot later in life. So I'd missed the Star Wars, wagon. It was a hodgepodge, like too much convoluted scenery, flashing. I mean, the theme was good, the score was good. What we did see actually felt a lot more like Star Wars than The Last Jedi. It's just it was just a barrage of just nerd randomness.
And there were some of the scenes, every so often you'd see a certain clip and you'd look at it and go, wait a sec, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. But they switch off so fast you can't even try to logically ascertain it in your mind before it's moved to some other clip.
Yeah, the way the trailer was cut, there was a lot of like very, very fast
let's put this many scenes in this much time.
Well, yeah, it in a way, you're not wrong, Rosetta, because it seems like they just stuck everything together. And
it kind of makes me wonder, are they really reshooting more than we know? Because it doesn't seem like they have enough footage for a coherent trailer storyline.
Thank you.
That's what I was thinking too.
Script Doctor touched on it, and it's because they're doing the what do you call it? The Pixar style, like how they messed up John Carter, where they're making all these different options they can go with, and even the name We Dare Not Do Say, KK, has she's admitted that they did a Raylo Loveline offshoot, and to me, that's where I noped the F out. Because like
that for so many reasons, not just because of the risk ancestral things that could be in it, because we still don't know who she is, but
she's Palpatine's granddaughter.
You know?
Yeah. But to me, it does seem like the romance aspect has been missing from this series of 3.
Well, the thing that like bothered me about the trailer was, you know, the cheap, like even having remnants of the Death Star bothers me, but like the whole cheap like redoing of like, oh hey look, they're in the throne room again. I found that to be like kind of just redundant, and then you go into like the horse part really bothers me, and it's like, why do you need a cavalry charge across a Star Destroyer?
Because they have to defend Rose freaking Pita Tico choosing the animals over the children to save.
Well, you know, it's just like
it's another thing it's another item to franchise. Like we had the Ewoks. Everybody hates the Ewoks. Everyone's going to hate these horses too.
I do not hate Ewoks. Ewoks at least had some logical sense. They were on a place that was a forest and they were a fuzzy forest creature. Having horses in space doesn't make sense. It's just trying to tie back to her rescuing the horses instead of kids.
They're not in space at that point. They're just in the atmosphere as all the destroyers are coming up from the water.
Yeah, I know, dude. It was
it's technically not space, but it's
so horrible.
It seems like the weakest point to me, even as a person who's gonna go watch the movie. But it seems like that's kind of one of the weaker points that they put in there. It's like, where, why, how?
Well,
why 4?
Without me having to go rewatch Avatar, wasn't there a scene in Avatar where the horses ended up on the one ship, or was that him coming in on the dragon, like the little the dragon looking thing? I forget.
I hate Avatar.
Oh, man.
Oh shit! I'd have to go back and watch it, dude. It's been so long since I've seen Avatar.
I remember the one dude jumping off the cliff edge with the horse across the wing of the.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I'm like, and those horses, when you look at them in the Star Wars, man, they really scream like the body style of the Avatar, horses with that long kind of oblong snout with the eyes kind of down and in.
Yeah, the exoskeleton kind of thing going.
I don't mind creatures as long as they're explained off in a plausible way. Like, if you go back to Empire with the Tauntauns, it's like understandable you would have a mount on that planet, and those creatures are used to the cold, and you can use that as, short range to get around, whatever. Hey, that's cool, man, that's fine. It was understood with the Tauntauns what was up there, so nobody ever had no question about the Tauntauns. But you get to this thing with the horses, it's like, they really just like, it's so out of place.
And I really do think they just brought it in so that they could try to tell people that they were wrong, to have a problem with what she chose and what she did, because that's one of the things a lot of us have a major problem with.
You're like woolly horse boars, man.
Yeah, I guess.
And I actually looked up pictures to get a better grasp of it. I saw the behind the scenes. I'm like, these horses look so stupid without all the CG. It was ridiculous.
I know. I mean, it just makes no
sense. They looked like they were standing on the mountaintop, just waiting for some activists to come throw blood on them.
I mean,
they were wearing the big bushy, like furry. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, like Star Wars creatures have some kind of rhyme or reason to them, and then when you get into like this movie, they don't. So, like I said, it's a completely unneeded sequence, and to have it in the trailer, like I said, it just looked goofier than all hell. you know, I could deal with some of the other stuff in the trailer. I mean, I actually, other than kind of the way like Rosetta was talking about the way he was holding the saber, but when that shot of the initial shot of Kylo when he's walking across like the sprays all coming up and everything's walking across.
Yeah, Death Star 2.
It actually looks cool, and I like that. And I like if you look at some other shots in the trailer, I like that chase view of the TIE fighters when they're going into like what looks to be like a frozen cloud city or whatever.
Oh yeah, the Outer Realms.
It looks like a Wampa had sex with a horse and had a baby.
So what would we call those?
Yeah.
Worstes or Warses?
Horse.
I guess.
Warse.
Like,
Yeah,
that's what I've
Daddy
never
Will.
understood about Star Wars. It's Star Wars, man. Like,
Yeah, it's supposed to be space.
99.9%.
Here in chat.
But 99.9% of the creatures are grounded. Like, there's really no aerial creatures in this world. Like, everything's on the ground. It's kind of weird. I can't really say how. I remember going back and seeing something off in the, like flying through the sunset or across the mountains and stuff, like with Anakin or with Luke. It's like, damn.
I mean,
Really
like
have
one of the
not
things
taken
that
Mark.
one of the things that kind of one of the things that kind of kills me is that it's called Star Wars, but how much of these last three have actually taken place in space?
Very little.
Not
Very
much.
little.
Oh.
What that part
Mark,
of episode 8 where Laura Dern wrecks
like,
the mega killer ship. That's it.
Oh god, yeah.
Other
I
than
don't
that,
even
it's all
wanna
been on
think about
planets. It feels like they're trying to give you a quick jigger.
And something else too, like I'm a big dogfight person. I love aerial plane, games and stuff like that.
There you go.
And I'm like, I keep watching Star Wars. My kid, I'm like, when are they just gonna go balls to the walls, full space aerial dog fights, man, with like some really new, innovative camera work and
blow shit.
like, yeah, like look at the Midway trailer that's coming out, the new movie coming out.
I've seen that, dude.
Look at those aerial scenes. I'm like, why are we not getting that in Star Wars, man? We could have some cool ass deep space battles with like no holds barred. And I mean, it's Disney and ILM, man. Y'all can really come up with some cool camera shooting techniques to really capture. But it's like, man, y'all just keep going grounded. It's like,
yeah.
Like, what was
why are we on the freaking planets all the time?
Wars. We liked watching wars. We watched.
Yeah, what was it? The Empire Strikes Back that had the big TIE fighter battle?
Yeah, like for me, when I think of the original trilogy, I think of Gold Leader, Red Leader.
Yeah.
Like all the battles. And it's like, this really, that's my biggest complaint is there's nothing going on in freaking space.
No.
And like,
Yeah,
to me, the aerial battles, like Drew said, that's really what made it.
yeah, it's like very, very much so. I mean, now that you guys point that out, yeah, this trilogy has really kind of lacked that. I mean, you saw more of it in the first movie in Force Awakens, but like TLJ really didn't have a whole lot of spacey stuff.
Yeah, that's why I liked Rogue One was fun.
Yeah, Rogue One.
Like it didn't really take a lot of place out in space, but that's why I felt it worked as a spin-off because it's not really a Star War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we want to watch stuff blow up. That's what we want to watch it for.
But the thing,
gotta blow up.
It's like look at Marvel Civil War. I mean, it's more like a scrimmage than it is an action.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like rugby.
Now we're
Is what
not
it felt like to me.
for being a supposed war movie.
Right, like we got a 6-on-6 concrete scrimmage, y'all. Flat, touch football, crack jokes.
Yeah, see,
It's like take this shit seriously. Don't, and that's where James Wan really showed the world with Aquaman. Don't be afraid to embrace what you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
and it's like, come on, man. We need some real creativity behind some of these franchises, and it's like.
Yeah, well, I know, and I think a lot of it is too, because there's no shortage of people like passing scripts around Hollywood and whatnot. The problem is like none of the big production houses are taking a chance on new ideas and new franchises.
And
They're
now
trying
they're
to.
screening them with AI to determine whether they're woke enough or if there's gender inequality. And it's like,
Yeah.
get out of
Because
here.
it doesn't count unless the hero has to be female, and you have to badmouth men half the time the movie's on.
Well, I think the more that they lose money, though, I think that again they're going to start to back off on it because they
You have
can't.
more hope than I do.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's just a question of numbers, Rosetta. They're not going to sit there and continually take losses.
Well,
They're
one of
gonna-
the things.
You have more faith
I
than I
like
do.
it. See, this is
I
what I
have
get
no
too.
hope in it.
Like this guy just read a tweet. He says Hollywood doesn't understand the purpose of helmets. They protect the combatant in battle. Sure, take it off during times of desire, but going into battle without a helmet is witless. Disney Star Wars follows a host of many of other films by removing its heroes' own helmets. Do you know why? Because we want to get these people that would rather have their face seen than portray an actual character. And that's where things are really starting to come across the board for a lot of different franchises, genres, and movies is less face or less mask time, more face time. And it's really starting to bring it down because it's like, dude, Vader never took his freaking mask off. Like,
Yeah.
for like what 95% of the time. I mean,
Even then, Luke's the one who took it off of him.
yeah, and it's like just how much mystery and curiosity would have been killed had he been running around without his damn mask the whole time.
Well, that'd be like, I mean, think about this, you guys, because I don't know, like Mike, I don't know if I'm assuming you played Halo.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm assuming you played Halo.
Mhm.
Okay, so think about this, guys. If Master Chief removed his helmet and you saw his face, it would completely blow the character for you.
Yeah, it's like Samus
Yeah.
in on Nintendo. Like once she showed her face, it was kind of like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
I mean, you know, like, I mean, even when they showed the whole team of Spartans, when you saw Blue Team, like in the later games, when you saw them together, you see them without their helmets. It's just, it don't look right, you know.
And I think it removes a lot of the stoicness, and it removes the ability to immerse yourself in the character because you can put yourself in there. But once you start seeing faces, it takes away from it.
I kind of have an example to this, and it goes back to it because we're in an era where everything has to be visual, has to be shock value, you have to have jump scenes in horror movies constantly, all this. They're losing the element of the unseen, which was something that was mastered in a lot of old horror and a lot of old sci-fi and stuff. Is there was fear, there was beauty, there was strength in what you couldn't see, what you had to visualize and imagine.
Yeah, letting your brain do the work. But a lot of people, in the early 2000s, they started ragging on movies because it was too mental and leaving it too much to yourself to decide what shit looked like with Godzilla.
Yeah.
I
Not the most current one with Millie Bobby, but
we didn't
it had
enough. We need pampered. We don't want to use our brains.
Well, it's
hair.
People accuse it of being lazy, but there's also a high lack of intellectual
an air of mystery, man.
ability. Yeah,
it's
but you have to do it right.
And it's like the biggest thing that comes to my mind is Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique in X-Men. All she ever did was complained and whined and moaned because of makeup. Well, if you don't want to do the makeup, then don't take the role.
Yeah, don't take the role.
I want scene. I don't, no. Like look at Will Smith. Well, look at Will Smith, Deadshot and Suicide Squad. I don't want to see Will Smith. I want to see Deadshot. You know, characters like Logan, that's one thing. They're can be taken seriously out of helmet. But it'd be like I really don't want to see Juggernaut running around without a damn helmet 90% of the time. It's these are integral parts of these characters. And it's like
well, like Juggernaut without the helmet would be like, a big buff dude with a little bitty, like he's gonna look like he has a shrunken head. Just because the bulk and mass compared to the rest of that.
There's a beauty to that element. That there's the mystery of the unknown is also, again, it translates to beauty in our interactions with each other too. Yes, you can ogle and imagine and look at a nearly naked body and you get the idea and you see the beauty, but there's also a beauty to somebody well dressed, well done, where there's that mystery of what's underneath, but there's also the class of how they look. The class is part of what we've lost in this society.
It's like, I get that you're actors and actresses, but embrace what you are. You're an actor and an actress. You're hired to play a role, a character, not play yourself as that character.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of God. There's so many people nowadays where they're not playing a role; they're just playing themselves, and it's gotten to the point where the actors are too busy about worrying to further their own career goals than actually doing a good job. And that's a big thing with me: is do your job. Big line from Battlestar Galactica: do your job.
Yeah,
just do your blanking job. that was my problem with that trailer they designed for Dark Phoenix a while back, was her sitting there preaching at him about what she couldn't do and why aren't you doing this? It's like, he's in a wheelchair. You were hired to do it for him.
Yeah. You need to change it to X-Women and you die 5 minutes later. I love that. She's preaching about, you need to change it to X-Women because we're tired of saving the men's asses, and she dies. I'm like, that speech was worthless.
Right. SD actually did a really good breakdown of Dark Phoenix. I refuse to watch it just because Sophie Turner's attitude after what they did to Game of Thrones. It's like, who the fuck are you to do that? You know?
She surprised me as Jean Grey and Phoenix in that movie. Like
I enjoyed it in the first two.
She was a pinnacle of the third act, man. Like her Phoenix went buck ham and just started deteriorating people and walking through them. I'm like, what?
But that's also kind of the same thing we saw with the Fox, the original Fox X-Men, where it all just kind of led up to the Phoenix, and it's like, can we not take it a different way?
They try.
I would like to see the Centurions.
They try to do Dark Phoenix because they won't go back to the original comics. They won't go back to the sci-fi elements of it. They're trying to make it the supernatural thing, and it doesn't work.
It's not so much. Well, they did that in this. They went with the whole space thing, like it was normal.
But they added in all this stupid woke stuff and added so much other crap.
I know. But the problem here is they're trying to cram it all in within 1, 2, 3 movies, and the Dark Phoenix saga would literally have to be
its own standalone.
MCU. You want to bring the X-Men in the MCU, leave the X-Men away from the Avengers for a while, and do a phase that just completely builds up to the Dark Phoenix saga, and then have like phase 2 be the Dark Phoenix saga, and then phase 3 be the fallout of the Dark Phoenix saga. You need a good 10 movie. You need a good 8-10 movie arc to really pull that off.
By the way, Jeff Jetty says thank you for ruining the end of it, even though he had no interest in watching it.
What? I didn't ruin anything.
About Mystique's fate.
Oh, that wasn't the ending. Shit.
he also said he has no interest in watching it, so he's giving you crap.
Well, she dies like 30 minutes in.
Hey, it's been long enough now. If you're gonna watch it, you were gonna watch it.
You know how happy I was.
That was kind of funny. He's ribbing him.
I was happy as hell. She didn't even make it to the second act. Cause I'm like, I've been waiting for this bitch to die for 2 movies. Shut up, Jennifer Lawrence, and get off screen.
Oh yeah, I can't stand
She's such an annoying woman.
She has her moments, but Catfish never clean. Like she's always kind of cool, you know. But her roles are just horrible.
The problem with
itself was okay. It wasn't as bad as some of her other roles.
I was just talking about her nickname. That's what I refer to Jennifer Lawrence as.
If these actors and actresses would follow Jeff Dunham's advice perfectly, they would just shut the up.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and that's their thing. That's the thing that happens with these movies. You have them running their mouths so much outside of these movies. It's a complete put off, and you don't want to go spend money to see them in this movie.
Yeah, that's why I noped out with Sophie Turner.
It's like, and that's where Hollywood needs to start putting a cap on these people's mouths, like disclosures. Like you can't be acting certain ways.
In their mouth, huh?
Just get them to hush up. Like, and that's where the social media and the internet has really taken its toll, because it's given the world a voice, and they think because they're celebrities, they have entitlement to be, the voice for the masses. And it's like, they just shut up. We don't want to hear your politics. We don't want to hear
actors. Nobody cares what you think. Shut up and act.
That's exactly what Jeff Dunham said too.
It used to be they'd have their talking points in their notes, and I get it when you're doing a full press thing. You're saying the same thing constantly, and every once in a while, stuff slips out, and it's like, can y'all just give these people some Cliff's notes? Like, give them a little note card like we had back in junior high and high school, a little 3x5. This is all you say. Keep your mouth shut because you're still getting paid, and if you're getting a cut of the take, you're hurting yourself. You know, there should be some sort of respected social media blackout where they don't talk about the movie until 3 months afterwards, where we can hate them afterwards for the stupid crap they're saying instead of what they're saying before it even gets out. That's one of the reasons I noped out on Sophie Turner. And there's so many other actors, like, I don't want to deal with that. But like, I'm kind of excited for The Mandalorian with Bill Burr, just to see what he does to it, because his comedy is like, I know it's like having an angry stepdad, but to me that's almost like my inner voice at times. It's like, come on now. Mm-hmm. So much anger in such a tiny redheaded package.
Yeah, it's just, what can you do about him though, man? It's and then people want to turn around. Why are y'all complaining about it? Because I'm tired of hearing it.
Yeah,
you're obviously complaining about being tired of hearing me complain about it. So I mean, you have a right to express that complaint. Let me have my right to express my complaint.
The thing that's so irritating about that is that they complain about us stating our opinions of what they're making, what they're doing, or their political views. Well, you guys have this megaphone where the world is listening to you, and you can express this stuff all day. But if anybody speaks against you, then we're just toxic. You should shut up. Your opinion doesn't count and stuff. It is an ultimate elitism. It really is.
Yeah.
Only their viewpoints count because they're the elites. That's what they think. And on that note, I kill the sounds in here.
Oh, you're fine. I was thinking, like, if I start to like talk when I type, I start typing when I talk, and it gets
I get the same thing.
Could not be as bad as when I was trying to talk to Moira while she was doing her stream, and I was in traffic doing it with voice to text the other day, and it picked up a couple of my ranting at the other drivers. And said
a little road rage there, darling.
No, a lot of road rage. I hate idiots so bad.
Like, and it's like Avatar.
And I'm sitting there talking to her in her chat, and all of a sudden it's like, "What the bleepy bleep bleep? Get off my bleep, you bleeper!" And she's, "What the?"
What were you saying, Mike?
I get that Avatar has like one of the worst copy and paste storylines in history.
Yeah,
but for all intents and purposes, it was a creative movie. Like, James Cameron's creature effects and the designs and stuff he came up with for creatures was like ingenious. And it's like with Avatar 2, that's what I'm looking forward to the most, because it's 65% underwater. And I'm like, dude, can you imagine what kind of stuff they can come up with? And it's like, if you were to take something like that and apply it to Star Wars, and start really just expanding your franchise's lore with new creative creatures that people can get into, toys that kids would go, I want to have that to play with my G.I. Joes, or, it's with another action figure or something, it's like my son used to be big into Star Wars toys. Now he's just like, I can't really imagine what I want to do with them.
No, because there's really not there's really not like any cool like toys to play with now.
That's the thing. It's like,
kind of sucks to be a kid right now.
And that's where it happens. Like, man, you remember back in the day, like, toys were just some of the coolest, because you had all these people coming up with the craziest toy ideas. And I mean, some of them stuck, some of them didn't. But it's like, I mean, Mad Balls, dude. I mean, come on now, Mad Balls, garbage.
Mad Balls were dope, dude.
What were those little rubber dudes? I keep forgetting their names. Not Mighty Men.
Talking about Muscle Men?
There were 1,000 of them.
Yeah, I had
them. G.I. Joes. Like, how many different G.I. Joes could you go to the store and buy? Hundreds.
No, yeah, I know.
Variations and stuff.
But you actually had like a good like cartoon to go along with it, though. Like the show was really good, because that's what pushed the toy sales.
Yeah, but it seems like anymore they're thinking about what they can sell instead of how good it actually is for play. There's a guy I watch on YouTube. He does a lot of 70s, 80s toy restorations,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he's working on a Death Star right now. He actually just finished it up. He posted the results last week. But you
Yeah.
look at the old toys, and it's like, yeah, you had to buy a lot of the pieces, but there's so much play there that you could reuse it for other things too. And instead, they're worried about, okay, let's create this character so I can sell it for $20. And nobody wants to buy a $20 toy for a kid just to destroy.
Yeah.
Like I understand playing to your fan base, but you have to remember to, like, you have your adult level and then you have your kid level. That's like I do Hot Wheels, and like there's the premium Hot Wheels that cost you like $6 to $20 pop, and you got your $1. And then, like they need to remember there's a difference between all your collectors.
Yeah, absolutely. They forget about the fact that not all people can just shill a bunch of money out for a whole ton of stuff that costs a freaking arm and a leg each piece. They forget about the fact that there are, they always talk about it's for the kids, it's for the kids. Well, there's a lot of poor kids who love these movies. Why not make some toys that are economical and affordable for them?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They just need to come up with some cool new franchises and things like that, so kids can get excited. So adults can get excited. Just so people in general can get excited. I get the superhero stuff, but even now, I mean, there's some people you talk to that have superhero burnout.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
So I mean, that's only going to go so far. And that's why, like, a movie like Alita was so refreshing, because you had, like, basically, I understand she's based off.
Alita's amazing.
Yeah, I understand she's based off of manga, so it's already pre-existing. But
yeah, and I'm kind of an anime girl
that
anyway.
Actually, that feeds back into Mike's thing with Avatar. James Cameron did Avatar just so he could get the get the working process right to do Alita.
I still hate
and
Avatar.
Like a lot of people don't know that. Well, I'm not really
a
huge fan either. Like, I'm gonna watch the movies, but more for like the Matrix effect is what I call it. The to see what kind of
it hurts my eyes if there's too much, and I didn't like the story, so I was left with nothing.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Rosetta has light sensitivity, and it's one of the things that, like, I know she hates Netflix, but Netflix is awesome about warning you in the beginning of an episode, and they make sure there's a good 5-minute gap before any of the stuff starts kicking off.
I give them credit for that. If they could change a few of their other business practices, I would be so much more down for it. I give them absolute credit, though, that they do that.
Yeah. A lot of people quit supporting Netflix because it turned into like the network of Obama when they gave them that huge deal and everything.
See, that's not how I look at Netflix.
That wasn't what made me dislike Netflix. So honestly, I don't care. There were people who got mad at MythBusters for having him on the show too, and I didn't care.
Well, no,
if you're going to this show and the president says, "I'd like to come on your show," and you're trying to get audience and you're trying to get fans, you're going to say yes.
No,
I don't care what side it is.
They're handing them a whole like boatload of money and say make shows.
I know. My point was, I don't care which side
that's like
is doing stuff, or if they have shows, or if they do all that. I really don't care. I can afford free speech on both sides.
These people ain't got no experience. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't hand them a boatload of money just because they used to be ex-president and ex-first lady. I mean, come on now.
Well, it's not so much that. It's just, I look at Netflix as a melting pot. Like, Netflix is one of those streaming services that pretty much they give any creator an opportunity to make something.
Yeah.
And I mean, Netflix is so diverse with content. I mean, anything you can think of is on there.
Yeah, that's true.
Hosted shows and movies. But it's like, on one hand, you got the political Obama stuff, but then on the other hand, you got Dave Chappelle and Jeff Dunham ripping politics a new asshole.
Right. Which is
and then you can roll over and watch some cool ass anime or animated series that you otherwise probably wouldn't see anywhere. And it's like, Netflix on a small scale is doing what studios used to do. They're taking risks. You know, they're
Yeah,
sitting in a corporate office throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what's going to stick.
Yeah, but they have a really horrible habit of getting people hooked,
And then
like setting stuff up and then cutting them off.
Right.
It's like,
Or just
don't
completely
start something
deleting
you
a
can't
show without
finish.
ever releasing it. In other words, they make the show, they release a few of the episodes or a movie or so on the stream, and then they don't feel like carrying it anymore. They're not going to bother releasing a DVD version. They just completely delete it and delete that part of cinematic history.
Yeah,
still out there. You just got to find it.
Well, Netflix.
Not all of them.
Netflix too, though. Here lately, I mean, I know like a number of shows that friends of mine watched, and they've gotten really like woke friendly lately. So you know, some of my
That's
friends.
not Netflix though.
Yeah, I know.
I think about that's more of like the
people that are making
Yeah, that's the person they gave the money to.
But it's just, but it's just like, I mean, those are starting to pop up on there, you know. And my friends express dissatisfaction with it, and I can understand where they're coming from, because I don't like that stuff neither. Like I mean, I personally, I don't have Netflix. The only thing I have is Amazon Prime Video, which I'm not complaining about because I can see The Expanse. But you know.
Dude, I binged that whole thing over the course of one weekend, and we have not talked about it.
What?
Kind of sad. The Expanse.
We'll get into it.
I never realized that I had accidentally read the books, and like somewhere around like season 2, I'm like, wait, I know this story, and like it made me really happy. I'm like, oh crap! Like I sent Drew like all these DMs on Twitter. I'm like, dude, I finally realized why I love this so much. I read the books.
Yeah. I mean, it's real good, but you know, like the thing is like, you know, we'll talk about it a little more as it gets as it draws closer.
Okay.
But like what we were talking about with the different things, like I like Amazon Prime Video. It's not too bad.
Actually, I enjoy my Amazon access, especially since it also gives me the free shipping on stuff too when I need something.
Yeah, we gotta have Amazon. That's a given.
I mean,
we got 4 kids. and I got habits. I got habits.
The free shipping on things that I need for my pets, that I need for my art projects and stuff that are cheaper there than in the stores locally. It is so damn well worth Prime.
But now Amazon has turned into a Walmart, where it's destroying even more options. You know, it's like how Wish is starting to make the come up now. You got to be careful what you buy, but if you're smart about it, you can get some pretty good deals. But it's
you can't.
I'm kind of torn on that argument because again, the business has become that big though, also because they found a market in the first place. So I see both sides of the freedom argument on it. You know?
Yeah, but it's. I'm not going to get into that. That's more political. This is sci-fi.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean to tear y'all off.
I have Amazon and Netflix.
We'll stick to the source material, but beside you know, unlike Ryan Johnson, we stick to source material here.
We follow the plan.
You mean like so is Kevin Feige like really Ryan Johnson, but it's like Fred Savage from Family Guy, where he's got like the different clothes. Because I mean, I swear Kevin Feige wipes his ass with more source material than anybody can shake a stick at.
I don't know if it's worse for Feige to get the actual Disney Star Wars, like where they're going to put the Disney's Star Wars. I don't know if it's worse for him to try and take off on the next set of movies, or worse for D&D. The guys from Game of Thrones, like.
I don't know, because Kevin Feige's like a huge Star Wars fan. So
I mean, like I give him that, and like I don't necessarily agree with like I haven't seen as many issues as everybody else did with his work, but I'm big on female empowerment and being equals. But
come on now, we already know who's getting roles.
At some point, you have to be like, okay, well, if you're giving so much to the females, there has to be equality in it. Is my thing.
There's got to still be respect to the men, and they need
there
to
has to be balance
in the way they're bringing women in. They need to deal more with who we are, our strengths as women, not just try to make us like the men, but appeal to what we are as women, what our strengths are, what our spirits are like, stuff like that. Not just trying to make us act like the men. And that's one of the problems I've always had with the way they kind of portray a lot of women when they try to do the feminist versions of them. Is they kind of
don't neo-feminist.
I'm not saying as in that.
Like,
I'm saying
feminism isn't what it was.
Yeah,
no.
well,
it's man hate
now.
now.
That part. I'm just saying today's version, what they do with these, what they're calling the feminist versions, is it's basically making a male character that's female, and they're really not really showing the strength of who a woman is.
Yeah.
And in order to make that make sense, they have those women bash men, bash men, bash men. Instead of trying to make it equal and really deal with the strengths each gender have in a really respectful way.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's the stuff that's creeping in right now. I mean, you got that going on. You got a big push for for characters to, one character's got to be gay. The trans community wants a character. This, that, and the other. So,
they're. And if it happens, let it happen naturally.
Yeah,
but they're forcing it.
They're trying.
That's the problem is the force of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're trying to shoehorn all that stuff in, and nobody can just write a story and let it just be how it's going to be.
It's not coming across as natural anymore.
Exactly.
It's like the character walks in and is like, I'm gay, and it's like, I don't give a fuck. You do you, but why do you have to make a thing out of it?
No,
I've never cared. It's like an interracial thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Nobody cares, dude. And again, they're gonna have to keep losing money and learning the hard way until eventually, the business does a natural 180 because of the fact that they're losing so much money, and it ain't gonna be until that gets to where it gets through their head.
Mike, about Sound and Fury? That's awesome.
Yes, I watched that about a week.
I'm a big Sturgill Simpson guy.
About a week and a half ago, I was just laying there and I'm like, "This looks cool."
To me, I don't know if anybody's really aware of Sturgill Simpson. I know it's not sci-fi, but he's a big music guy coming out of Austin, Texas, and he usually has a country kind of a feel to it. So this was like a completely different take. Mm-hmm. But what he did, he actually wrote the treatment. I'm not going to say script for Sound and Fury, but it's definitely a real sci-fi thing. If anybody's interested, unfortunately, once again, it's on Netflix. So if you don't have Netflix, you're missing out. But I started jamming out to the album on Spotify, and then I saw it on Netflix, and I'm like, wait, that has to be connected.
Yeah, it reminded me of heavy metal from back in the day.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to at least do a month of Netflix, if for nothing else, just to watch freaking Fluffy's show and Dark Crystal. So
the Dark Crystal came out awesome. I wasn't a big fan of the original.
I am,
but watching, I liked it, but that's like when I talk to people about movies, it's a good movie. It's not a blockbuster, but it's good.
I kind of love that in Labyrinth a lot from my childhood. So yeah, I kind of really want to see that. I want to see Fluffy's show. I love his stand up. I love seeing him in concert and all that. And I want to see his show. And
Gabriel.
It's also there. He's freaking crazy if you see him live. He's
I thought you were talking about an animated character. It took me a second to connect Fluffy to Gabriel Iglesias.
Freaking so ADD in person. He has no attention span whatsoever. He's bouncing all over the stage. He's funny.
So
it's really great.
So I want to give props to everybody out there that's watching and you guys in here because I appreciate the support. By the way, last week it was probably last week now. I think so, or earlier this week. I wrote that story about, I think it was Tuesday actually, that I wrote the story about Anas Abdeen getting the death threats and whatnot.
And that makes me so mad.
And I appreciate that everybody read it when I shared it out on Twitter, and I appreciate all the support behind it. And Anas himself was really happy with the way the story came out. But I think it's a bunch of BS that happens. And man, that Discovery fan base, there's so many of those unhinged like nut jobs in it, and it's like,
yeah, they completely missed the point of Star Trek.
Yeah, it goes back to when you hear people that are, whether they're fans, whether they're actors or stuff, that are connected to Star Trek, and they say things like, you have to be in my camp to be a fan. You're not Star Trek if you don't agree with me and stuff like that. You're like, you don't get the point. Especially look at original series and Next Gen and DS9 and stuff, and see, especially with DS9 where they had freaking Ferengi next to these spiritualists and stuff, and they were interacting and living together. I mean,
exactly.
The point was, you don't have to agree to share a vision of a world where you can all live peacefully with each other. Mm-hmm. That was the point. And somehow these people that are connected now to what's become Star Trek, and my rant here for an obvious reason, they don't get it. They're so clueless to what it really meant. And you're seeing it in the writing now with it too.
Well, I look at the vicious stuff that was said to Anas, and it was only because he was just doing an appeal, and they sent like death threats to him and everything else, man. Hey, Orange Hat, what's up, buddy?
Hey, bud.
No, but the thing is it makes no sense. Why? There should never be a reason. I mean, I get it if it's like your boy or something and you're goofing around and say, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you," but like, if to like threaten another human being with death, you shouldn't be doing that shit.
Right. That's a point where you can take the "I'm gonna destroy this man's whole career" gif and get the same point across without being an asshole about it. That's sorry, I cussed, man. My bad.
Yeah, I think we both had a few slips. We really do need to apologize to Drew. We are so terrible. We are so terrible. You can punish us later.
I ain't monetized, man. So, really quickly before you get with your thought, Brian. Speaking of that, you guys, yes, I'm not monetized yet. I know I'm a tiny channel, but if you haven't subbed, please sub. And if you want to support the channel, just click. I have a PayPal link. It's paypal.me/Supreme Heretic. If you can help out in any way, it would be greatly appreciated, because I will tell you this. I live with my elderly mom that has cancer. She's also got leukemia, and she's had a number of strokes, and she's just got all kind of issues, and the medical costs are really awful and everything else. So anything that anybody can do to help out, again, it's greatly appreciated.
Drop him all the support you got, because I'm telling you, he is amazing. Drop him support every chance you can.
God, I can't remember the name.
I think Geek got into it with monetization. I think when he was talking to Squirrel, there's like I'll never monetize, because to me it's hanging out with my friends, and there's too much that comes with it. I'd rather give you the chance to, if you want to help, go ahead and hit up a Patreon or a PayPal or something like that.
Yeah,
drop $1.
And I'm trying to set all those things up still, but
I'd rather do that.
Well, see, here's the myth about it, though. Honestly, like all these services, like if you broadcast on, because I've already been a Twitch streamer before, I know how that works. They rip a lot away from the streamer. Like you don't get hardly nothing.
Yeah, really, and you got to get 1,000 views just to make a buck, and then you got to hit $100 to actually get a check.
Yeah. I mean, it's goofy. Like the only way that you can really do anything, and this is a good thing to understand, all of you out there in the chat, whether you're watching somebody on Twitch, whether you're watching somebody on YouTube, wherever that you watch your favorite streamers or personalities, the best way to help somebody out is go to their PayPal, go to their Patreon, because
go to their private link, whatever it is, and donate directly.
They're at least going to see the money is going to go to the source that you need it to go. And they're going to actually get it, because the companies are taking, more than their share from the creator. So they're never going to see any true money from the company.
30-40% on a lot of the even things like super chats and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, like for me, I do most of this stuff just out of labor of love and creativity.
Well, you remember Brian from Twitch, even if somebody threw bits in our channel, I mean, we would get what, 60% of that, something like that? 50%?
Yeah, that's like I used to work in gents clubs, and that's like the would you like to buy the lady a drink hustle? It's like I'm selling you a little tiny 6-ounce bottle for $15, and like it doesn't make any sense. That's one of the reasons I don't stream on Twitch anymore.
There's what my speaking of Twitch, she made it old school like Twitch. Raid!
Aw, kitty.
Oh man, nice.
Hurrah!
That's like our own version of a Twitch raid. I like it.
Turbo Killer. I remembered it. Yes.
But yeah, if anybody can help out, it's much appreciated. And I know my mom appreciates it. It literally keeps groceries in the fridge and enables me to pay the internet bill. So
yeah, but we still love your broke butt. You're awesome. And you guys, I absolutely have to back him on this. Dealing with being disabled, dealing with my parents and their disabilities for so long, it is so expensive to deal with all this stuff. You got to just understand with your heart that it really is a labor of love to try to get through this and take care of your family in this situation.
Oh, I would do this regardless, because I like to entertain people. I like to inform people, and working for Bounding into Comics has really been a blessing, because I get the chance to write, and again, I appreciate the fact that all of you guys read my stuff, and it blows me away when somebody, I've only got 2.5 months behind me in the business, and you guys, I get compliments from you guys like, hey, you're a good writer, man. It's a really good article that I read.
Quit being humble, you freaking rock.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it makes it. I'm incredibly humbled every time when you guys compliment a story or something like that.
Well, then let me make you feel humble again. You're my boy. You freaking rock, and your stories are great.
Well, and I appreciate it when you guys use my stories for your videos too. So,
although I don't do a lot of videos on all this pop culture stuff, I mostly just stream and BS with friends.
Yeah, so we'll move on to the next topic here, because I got an interesting one. Speaking of articles I did, there was a if you guys out there know Bray Wyatt from WWE, there was a rumor, because he was responding to a tweet from it was on the subject of Jonah Hill passing on the Batman role. So Bray Wyatt said he would step up and take the role of the Penguin or whatever. Now, do you guys think Bray Wyatt would make a good villain, a good Batman villain? I think so, yes.
I'm not aware of him, so I can't say.
Let me think. I'm trying to I'm scanning through my head here, pictures and stuff. Batman's Rogue Gallery. Do you know who he would be perfect for? The pig
Who?
guy.
Who?
Hang on, let me. Professor Pig.
Professor Pig.
Mm-hmm.
Who's? I'm trying to think of who
He was actually on one season of Gotham. He would run around and like carve people up or like make people wear the pig mask or the pig face, like flesh and stuff on their face. Just Google Batman.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
I could see him playing that role because like the way he does with the mask is the theme. Plus that mentality he's got, that dark kind of twisted.
Just kind of taking a look at him right now. He seems like he'd be an interesting fit for the role. It would be. It might be kind of confusing, I guess, unless they find a way to do it properly. But it'd be kind of cool to see a big penguin, like an actual intimidating.
Well, yeah,
like a Bane.
The dude is ripped. I mean,
he's big. I'm digging the beard.
Yeah, he's a ripped dude.
I'm looking at him. He's definitely got a bit of a hardcore, almost like Old West style of bulk to him. Just big, tough guy from the old biker eras and stuff too.
Yeah,
anything that could be rowdy. I think he could fit well.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Like the guy, whenever he's done his wrestling characters, one thing I notice is like, the guy is a really good character actor. Like, I mean, he's one of them people. Like, like sometimes you'll see him, like you'll see these people sometimes break character. The guy doesn't break character; he stays in character, which is like rare these days. So yeah, I found that to be pretty neat. So he's a great character actor, and that's why I was just thinking, like when I wrote the article, I thought that he did a good job of throwing his name in the hat and being a good candidate, because I'm like, yeah, I can see the fit there.
Yeah. It definitely could work.
So, so I know that another one that came out for us today on it came across on Bounding. It was the fact that apparently Warner Brothers is considering another like live action Batman Beyond movie with Michael Keaton in it.
What is with the three Batmans? Like we've got Reeves Batman, we've got the rumored Batman that they're making, who's going to be completely separate from Pattinson's for Joaquin's Joker, and now a Batman Beyond movie. Like they're really trying to have three Batmans on screen at the same time. I don't get it.
Hey, Kim Park, welcome. Good to see you back.
Drew,
welcome back.
I sent you 2 links on Twitter in a DM.
Oh, okay.
To 2 videos.
I mean,
watch the Turbo Killer one first, and then watch Blood Machines. Turbo Killer is like a short film done to a song, and then Blood Machines is actually supposed to be a full-length feature film sequel to it. It's kind of like what's that one? Kung Fury. It's kind of done in that same kind of retro, but it's like really, really crazy with the inventive and imaginative sci-fi. Like it's got some crazy stuff, but not many people know about it. So I was like,
Blood Machines almost like if it's on Shudder, it makes me think that it's like something like The Mangler. It'd be like a horror movie.
Oh, it's some crazy stuff, man. Mm-hmm. Like there's some real weird stuff going on in here, but it's just
like it would be.
It found a network.
It would be something like reminds me of something like, hey, thank you, Mega Jetty. You have a good one. Have a great night, buddy. Yeah,
but
it
they're
almost
space operas.
it almost makes me think of the like that Death Race movie. It's almost like a Grindhouse type of movie.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're like these crazy out there space operas. I'm like, yeah, you know.
Huh.
But they're creative as hell. I'm
Yeah,
like, that's kind of.
I have to peep that though. But yeah, we got all kind of crazy like Batman shit going on, and we got so it's rumored that another like if they do another Batman Beyond, it's gonna have Keaton.
Really, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, after seeing him as Vulture, I could see it. Vulture and the other Bird movie he did, Birdman. I could see him doing it. He's still got that grit to him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's going to do. I don't think he would be Batman. I think he would play somebody else.
He would have to be Batman.
Yeah,
it'd be a
playing
slap
Bruce
in the face
Wayne.
It would be a complete slap in the face to have him come back but not be Batman. Much like it was for Murray and them in Ghostbusters 2016.
Oh, dude, don't
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh God, man! You still got to watch the stink of that one off.
Yeah, like
Bad.
I keep my digital copies of my movies on a hard drive so I can just attach it to my TV and let them run. And like I kind of woke up the other night as it was rolling through, and I'm like, oh no. Jumped out of it and skipped to the next movie.
So, so interestingly enough, I actually had some breaking news out of the world of gaming because I actually worked on the article just before I came on. It's not published on the site yet, but apparently, like a lot of the big name Twitch streamers are going over to Mixer now.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Because Ninja went over there a couple months ago, and now I guess just today, Shroud went over there. And like, you know, for those of you that don't know who Shroud is, he's like he was an old like CSGO player. He was a CSGO professional. And then he started streaming on Twitch and like just mainly stream shooters like PUBG and Apex and stuff like that, Fortnite.
Yeah, free to play games.
And now he I guess he got a hell of a deal from Mixer and went over there. So that's a second big name that they've gotten. And I'm wondering if there isn't going to be more. Because Twitch has had its problems, man. And all these little scandals and stuff
all the like the guy streamers getting banned just entirely or partially, but it's like a 6-month ban for like little bitty slips. But the female streamers that are just straight up using it as like a cam site,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like they're getting 1 day 7-day suspensions, but a guy who actually does something that's far less egregious like completely gets thrown against the wall. It's like, what?
Hey, look who made it. Look who made it.
Hey, what's up, Script Doctor?
SD made it.
Hello. I did make it.
Yes, you did.
He pulled a me this time.
Yes, I did. Brian and I switched spots.
Yep.
Hey, you've been going crazy here lately with your content, man. So you know, we all have to make we all have our give and take.
They're doing a good job. So, yeah, everybody out there in chat, give a warm welcome to Script Doctor, our other regular panelist.
And this is, I think, my first time meeting Geek in Disguise. Hello, sir.
Yeah, that's
How
our
are you doing?
special guest.
Yeah.
I'm not so special.
So yeah, Mike, I know, dude. You're making me want to get a snack, though. You're like,
He's making
Oh
me
yeah,
want
I got my trail
combos.
mix.
yeah, you
Like I
crushing
know
that,
he's not
bro.
eating combos, but now I want combos.
Need that protein, man. I'm like, oh.
Oh man, but the thing is we were just talking about like what was going on. I was just kind of covering some of the stuff I've been writing on for Bounding the last few days, Script Doctor. So you didn't miss anything super big. It's just basically going over the news of the week.
Fun fact: my channel was originally going to be called the Chex Mix Critic.
Nice. There you go. There you go.
I couldn't get. I couldn't get.
I was
sponsored by
originally
Chex Mix
supposed to just do
already.
diecast.
Yeah.
But I remember like some of my first reactions. I'm like, oh, the Chex Mix Critic. But I was like, I couldn't get sponsored. I'm like, I'm not going to see shelling out for Chex Mix to do reactions.
But yeah, Brian, I mean, you brought up a good point, and see that's something I wanted to talk about really quickly because I know like a lot of people and if you and it's funny like for us being guys, we try to say something about it. Like if you tried to put something about it on Twitter, it'd just be like hey, look the e-girls are just like taking over Twitch and it's bringing the quality overall downhill. They're going to turn that around on you immediately and say, oh, you're a misogynist for saying that.
Misandrist for always making everything about gender that way.
But no, but see, Rosetta, here's the thing about Twitch, and we know this for those of us that have been on Twitch, that have streamed on Twitch. Like we affectionately call them Twitch thoughts. I know it isn't a very flattering term, but
it's the truth.
But
I mean,
but the Twitch
it must be true.
But the Twitch
watches.
There's a category called just chatting on there, Rosetta. And it's like, basically people sit in front of their cam and these girls wear low cut shirts and just donations from guys. That's the entire content of their stream. There's no gameplay. There's no chat engagement.
Yeah, there is no content.
Yeah, they literally just sit in front of their camera and hustle tips. And it's like and they seem to multiply because there is more and more and more of them like taking over, and it takes away actually from the other female streamers that are doing gameplay and actual content that are busting their behinds.
Oh no, I do know what you're talking about. I may not actually do stuff on Twitch, but I do follow enough of what's going on with my friends. I know what's been happening there. And yeah, as he said, it may burn, but it's kind of true. They really are just basically acting like they're cam strippers or something.
Well, it's like
cam girls.
It's like basically like cam girl light. They don't want to go the full 9 yards to be a cam girl or moon or do the whole thing like moonlighting on Chatterbait or whatever places there are for those kind of things, but they want all the benefits of it, but they ain't gonna go all the way through with it. It's like,
yeah, they're not even good at being cam girls. They're lazy and self-entitled.
Well, yeah, it's like a lot of them. When I started streaming on Twitch, there was people that reached out to me like, "Oh, can I try that Twitch thing? I heard it's easy money." I'm like, "What?" I was like, "No, you actually got to work at it."
Yeah.
You actually have to have some content. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So I guess I can understand why like a lot of the major partners and stuff are going to Mixer. Now, see, here's the game changer. Now, if Mixer lands Doc, if Doc goes over there, it's game over for Twitch. But I don't know. Do you guys think Doc will leave Twitch?
I don't really get.
I don't know. There's going to be a gap left now. Like I don't watch a lot of stuff on Twitch. There's one guy I keep up with, but he has a cerebral palsy, and like watching him play is just a joy because like just talking to him. It's great interaction.
But if Dr. Disrespect goes over to Mixer, I mean, forget it. Twitch is done.
Yeah.
I think. Because if they lose Ninja Shroud and Dr. Disrespect, I mean, they still got big streamers, but I don't know. If they lose Dr. Disrespect, they're done.
Yeah, it becomes a power vacuum.
But yeah.
And it could get even worse with the cam girls wanting to not pay their cut to whatever website to actually make their money the way
I'm
they should be
surprised.
made.
I'm surprised you don't see them on Pornhub.
Right?
Like I know you can stream on Pornhub.
But they don't want to give up that
not
cut.
my personal experience. I just,
Recently, every time I'm in a chat with a bunch of guys, they start talking about cam girls and porn.
well, because
Well, we're not
it's borderline
talking about
porn,
what
and
we
I'm
like.
thinking,
We're
Well,
just talking about the
it
truth.
actually
It's something we
if
have
they
to
can
deal with
go-
at this point.
if
But-
they can go that extra mile,
Give you some crap.
Like, yeah,
why
we're-
stay on Twitch where you can be censored when you can go to Pornhub and go that extra mile and really make some money?
No, because like I said, a lot of them ain't gonna go through with it. It's like the light version of cam girling, so they ain't got to go through with it. It's like
Just imagine you can get a ping pong show.
it's lazy.
Well, it's the difference between being a titty bar dancer and being an actual strip club dancer.
Right, exactly. There
Very
you go.
true. Very true.
Yeah, I mean, you put it, bam. Brian gets
I
left.
can't show you my nips. I gotta have the pasties.
You know how much it sucks to manage a club and have to be the guy who goes and checks that?
Oh man.
But yeah, sorry, we're way far off sci-fi.
We'll go.
It is science.
I don't know if
fiction.
it's my
Plastic-
fault we fell down this rabbit
It,
hole.
it falls into sci-fi. It's boob jobs.
We'll go into
Science, boob.
we'll get into the good part now, because now that Script Doctor's here, we could kind of get into our Treadstone stuff for the week.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't seen the episode yet. I've been on blackout for 2 days.
I need to
Hey
catch
man,
up. I've
that's
had
all
it on the slate to watch. I just haven't gotten to watch it yet.
Yeah, my sister
I'm trying to
recorded it
catch
for
up
me, so
last night.
we're gonna be watching it Saturday.
Yeah. So basically, if you thought all I can say, Script Doctor, is if you thought that the episode 1 was good, man, episode 2 was just absolutely, oh wow. It was just seriously, I was like, I was so blown away by there was a really good chase sequence.
Oh my god, they did a chase sequence? You don't
In
see that.
Paris.
You literally do not see that in television anymore. Like, the bad guy gets away and the hero just stands there and is like, okay, cut to commercial, and then they're back at like HQ or some crap.
Yeah,
There's
no payoff.
There was
for
a
the
good
build-up.
car, yeah, there was a good car chase sequence in there
Oh, nice.
for episode 2. And then we got it turned, you said you didn't mind spoilers, right?
I don't mind spoilers. I'm more on the journey and the craft. So, like, if someone tells me the ending of something, it's like, okay, cool, I know where it's going. How well does it get there? Is really
So we get a reveal that that it kind of shows like the oil rig worker. It kind of shows like where he's trying to figure out, and eventually
A bit of his home life.
yeah, you get to see some of his home life, and then it cuts to where he's heading to the that one thing that was on the back of that card.
right, because
Yeah,
he was
his-
laid off, so he's
his
got
hit.
nothing left to do right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we find out that the guy from the 1973 stuff.
Yeah, the flashback.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
We get to find out some more about him, and it's tied in with him that, remember the old lady that killed the old man in the missile silo?
Yeah, the fingerless
Petra.
lady. Yeah.
Petra.
Yeah, that was Petra.
Oh, so he was like brainwashed to be the husband, or no, that was
no,
just the wife, right?
they don't get that far into it. Petra was the one guarding Stiletto 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you remember the end of 1.
Yes.
But you kind of get to see a bit of her, like the fallout from what happened from him escaping, and you get to see a little bit of what happened with the CIA agent and the fallout from him being captured, and you find out how long he was captured for.
Yeah. So there's a lot of setup, dude.
It just furthers the setup as opposed to just what Batwoman did, which was nothing.
Yeah, it's like your term. It's an excellent slow burn. It's giving us it's giving us our little crumbs to keep us going.
Yeah,
but you're also getting your payoff.
Mark said the 1973 guy is not the husband. So
okay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I don't think so.
Yeah, the 1973 guy that escaped, that's the CIA agent. And you see more from his perspective this episode. And then, like, another cool thing that you see is, the North Korean girl, where they, that starts to take some interesting twists, too.
Yeah, you get to see how interweaved a lot of it is happening. General Kwan, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He's the one that was killed last episode, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
sir.
Oh man. Okay, that's good because I'm cautiously optimistic, especially with shows that tell stories in this type of format because they usually burn out pretty fast. So I want to try and enjoy it and relish it as much as I can before it either fails or blows my socks off.
It was really good. I mean, I sat there. I sat there like at the end, like, oh God, I want more.
Oh, that's a great feeling to have after a show or movie.
It definitely feels like what you and Drew were talking about last week with how we hope it like we follow these characters for a season, and then we get another section because they keep referring to like right now they're just dealing with the cicadas, and it also refers to I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the other group. Do you remember, Drew? Where they're talking about the group that got blown and they attempted to kill Treadstone, but you find out it's a lot bigger than it was.
Yeah,
but it doesn't seem like you haven't had any more cicadas wake up.
Yeah, and it's like, and I think it's going along the lines of what you said, SD. I think they're doing it like kind of group by group so that they can sort of give us new stuff every season.
Yeah, that so they don't burn out.
Move, yeah.
Like I worry, like to me, USA kind of has like we were talking about earlier with Netflix, how they'll fund the hell out of something and drop it after one season. You know, it's like
or if this thing takes off, how much do you guys want to bet as soon as Peacock launches, they'll move this over to Peacock?
I believe that.
If it helps their streaming service, I can see that happening.
I can see that.
I just think that they keep a weekly model because the binging stuff doesn't work right now.
Yeah. Man, all I can say, Mike, is I know you're over there being quiet, like, man, what are these guys talking about? But dude, Mike, if you get the chance, you got to watch Treadstone.
When we get off here tonight, I'm gonna go in there and watch first episode. Pull it up on Cyberflix.
Yeah,
it's worth it. I
was gonna start watching it last night, but I messed up and tried watching Batwoman and fell asleep.
Actually, this one, like I said, the cool thing about this show is it's set in the Bourne series universe, like the Bourne movies.
Robert Ludlum.
So like you'll immediately start to get that vibe when you watch it. So if you've seen the Bourne movies, you'll like pretty much understand. And I mean, it's just been fabulous so far. Like I said, I know me, Script Doctor, and Brian, we're enjoying it. I think Rosetta is trying to catch up on it.
Yeah, as well as I can right now.
I'm one of the things I'm actually enjoying is I'm watching it on the USA website where they're giving it away for free. Like you watch your commercials, but it has like it's like watching TV, but it also like it gives you your second to think about it, having those commercials inserted in there. It's like a lot of these panels we have. A lot of people don't leave they don't leave a break in the conversation, so they don't get a chance to actually process what they've heard. They're just oh that's what they said, and they just you get into the echo chamber thing. But it seems like not going with the binge on this, like you get a chance to think about it. I was talking to Drew earlier about that car chase. There's a I don't know if you work on set a lot there, SD, but if you're into special effects and how they flip cars and stuff like that, it kind of gives a little bit of nod where the people that are paying attention can see the piston that flips things, but it's not made blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
So like people like me that get off on that, like, oh, that's how they did it. It's like a gentle nod. It's like, yeah, like we're not gonna go in and waste our money on CGI. We're gonna put that into actually writing a good script.
But but again, that's cool if they like give you a little movie magic as an Easter egg. I mean that's neat. People like that.
Yeah, and the last year or so, sets, special effects, especially on sets, have been so much different. I mean, ILM released this real-time thing that was just freaking phenomenal. So a guy would like animate, say, a character, and then they'd throw an actor on a motion capture suit. You could see it in real time, and all it needs is like I think 3 hours of rendering for every 2 minutes, and you've got the special effect already done.
Holy
and
cow.
It blew me away. And it's basically like real-time stuff, and I'm like, holy crap, this is gonna either ruin television and movies, or it's gonna make people spend more time on the actual post-production and writing aspect of it. So
yeah, because now your dailies are actually dailies.
There are dailies again. Yeah. My cousin through marriage is a compositor, and he's been like pretty much in the dark for the last 6 weeks because I think he's working on Rise of Skywalker. He won't tell me, but like I can't even talk to him right now. Like he just doesn't answer his phone or anything. So I'm pretty sure he's working on Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, he's in the blackout.
Yeah, but he was telling me like, yeah, because he worked on the Power Rangers movie, which he hated. But he was saying like, yeah, I'm compositing the scenes, and one of the shots wasn't fully done, so I saw in real time how the special effects were being done for some of the suits and how they weren't even wearing the suits in a couple of the fight scenes, and they're wearing the motion capture stuff, but it was overlaid and like just to the side. So you see the actor like doing his fight moves, and just like 3 inches behind him is the CG model that's supposed to be over top of him. Because it didn't render properly.
Oh man!
So he had to like fix that. And he was showing me this tech, and he's like, "Yeah, it's new ILM stuff. ILM keeps changing the game every like 5-6 years." He's like, "Forget James Cameron, whatever he's doing. It's going to be great for like the one movie, and then people will catch up and surpass it before it's even released." So,
man, Mike's comment is gold. Hey Doc, I have insomnia. Well, here's a prescription. Watch episode 1 of Batwoman. Enjoy a great night's sleep.
Yep, exactly.
Like I can't tell you how many people I track from our little YouTube neighborhood on Twitter. I don't really comment on everything, but everybody is talking how Batwoman is putting them to sleep. No matter how hard they try, they fall out because they're not engaged.
I caught up on Titans last night and switched over to Batwoman. And this was at like 11:45. Next thing I remember waking up at 6:30 this morning, like, when the hell did I fall asleep? And I was like, I don't even remember the first 5 minutes of the episode.
You wake up in your clothes with the lights on, like, what? What happened?
And what's crazy is that Titans is like Dawson Creek, and then I guess Batwoman is like, I don't know, Gossip Girl or something like that.
Yeah.
To be fair, I tried to give it a chance. I watched about 10 minutes and I woke up about 2 hours later.
Yeah.
To me, Ruby Rose is the kiss of death. Like anything she shows up in, like I don't remember who I was chatting with earlier, but they were talking about John Wick 3, and that's the weakest one out of all the John Wicks. And to me, like whenever she shows up, it's horrible. She killed the Orange is the New Black. She kind of killed that.
Yeah, I remember that was the first time I saw her in it, and it kind of just stymied the show.
The messed up thing is I liked her as a DJ.
I mean, look.
Well, she's a good personality when she can have her own personality and doesn't have to suppress her accent.
It's just it feels like she's like what we were talking about earlier, how actors are they're not acting so much, but they're pursuing their career.
Yeah, well,
instead of choosing material they can work with.
One of the things that I noticed, especially in 2000, just as I was finishing high school, I was dabbling in acting at the same time just because I had a unique geeky look that people wanted. And my agent at the time was trying to get me on Smallville because they thought I'd make a good Clark Kent, but I was like 4'11" at the time. I was like, no, I'm out of it. But he said, no, they're just looking for people that could like grow into the part. And I'm like, but I'm just a new actor. I'm not doing anything. It's like they don't care about the acting right now. They just want to shepherd you. And I'm like, oh, that is creepy. And then lo and behold, one of my friends who worked for Much Music as like a video jockey, she wanted to be an actress, but she couldn't act for her life. But she got on the role because she was gorgeous. And she got like a couple of like, no line background things or something like that. And she kept on trying to push it for a career, but it was in a transition stage where casting directors were still saying like, no, you got to be able to memorize lines. But nowadays that's not even the case.
What do they have, prompters now?
They've got guys like me who are like, working with script supervisors or the writer of the show at that day who's just has a conversation with the actors. They go through their lines. If they can't say a word, we rewrite the words so they can say it. And they just kind of wing it on the set a little bit. And it's really kind of despicable at times because I've been on professional sets. Like I was wandering by the set for Hangman a few years ago with Al Pacino. And like the guy was super committed for the role. And he was just doing it so he could pay an alimony check. Like, yeah, he was still giving it his all. And it just kind of really messed up. And there is a casting director that works for like, the CW shows and stuff. And I can't remember if it's a guy or a girl because I've never met them, but I just hear them in passing. And they literally just cast the first person that they see for their show.
Oh.
So out of the 400 people, they cast the very first person. So like Stephen Amell was the first person to audition for Arrow. He got cast. Grant Gustin was the first person to audition for The Flash. He got cast. Melissa Benoist for Supergirl. She got cast. Ruby Rose they just asked her. They didn't even bother like doing auditions. And I'm like, that is the laziest form of work ever. Like I remember hearing stories when I just moved down there for the first time about like how Deborah Joy Levine, when she was like starting out and just about to get like her shows, she would spend like 6 hours in a room with headshots and trying to find real footage of all these people just to see who's the best fit for the role. And now you get these casting directors and writers that are like, yeah, let's just do it for this actor.
Yeah, it's like the fast food management technique.
Kind of, yeah.
You walked in the door, you got a pulse, cool.
I would rather watch Riverdale than Batwoman.
Interesting.
Well, there are prettier people there.
Again,
however, I think they did a show that was like a throwback to the 80s, but it was all 90s references.
So Grant got to the same school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
would rather watch Riverdale because it's funny. The only reason I know of Riverdale is because I came across. I was actually like jamming out to like Dream Warriors from Dokken the other day. And so I was like watching the video here on YouTube of Dokken Dream Warriors, and there was I clicked on it, said Riverdale Dream Warriors cover, and it was a friggin' cast of Riverdale doing Dream Warriors. I'm like, damn.
Nah. I'll offer an opinion on that.
I found out the chick that plays Veronica is hot.
Beauty is only skin deep. If they can't act or make it sexy, I don't care.
and the girl that plays Betty, she is too.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a CW. They're looking for eyes, and also one commonality with the CW is all their adults still act like they're 14 or 15-year-olds. So
yeah, this is true.
Yeah, the 90210 effect.
Yeah, like the stage of Arrested Development without the Ron Howard narration.
Yeah.
Right. Which,
don't get me wrong, if I do see Ron Howard, I would love to like hand him over a couple of lines to read as narration for a Batwoman video. Just to.
if I ever catch Opie in the state, I'll definitely be like, hey, there's someone you need to talk to.
Yeah, well, like I keep missing him because one of the offices I work at when I'm down in LA is across the street from Imagine Impact Studios or Imagine Studios. They have this big Impact banner outside front. a couple times a year. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if I'm gonna be able to catch him. It's just kind of wander out there on my lunch, like, hey, where is he, man? On Richie Cunningham.
Oh, real quick, since we're about to wrap up, I was just gonna say, we'll give our scores out. I'll say Brian, for going back to Treadstone for a second. I would have gave episode 2. I definitely give it at least a 8 out of 10. I think so.
Yeah, I'd say about an 8.5 because I've been listening to Script Doctor a little too much, and I'm starting to pay attention to how things are actually put together or how they're written. I'm like, oh, they just kind of left a big. They just did a boo boo. Because it's not terribly obvious, but I'm sure it'll come up next time we get to talk. But I'm like, oh, they just kind of fillered something that could have been done much better or in a different way.
Yeah, well, actually, there's one thing about filler that I left out deliberately because it's definitely not relevant to Batwoman. But in most cases, if you see a show of good quality that has a filler scene, it usually means an accident occurred on set and they had to rush and rewrite something last minute just to get us to the next part because they didn't have enough time to either correct the issue or reset up what happened. So either like an actor who got really sick with food poisoning or injured themselves, or a location fell through, or a fire broke out, and so you got to keep your eyes on that, because if it's just once in a blue moon, then the writing's good and it was just something that they couldn't account for on that day, like they didn't have enough insurance days to cover it or what have you. But if it's consistent throughout an episode, holy crap, that's at the source. Because if you have any problems, what they usually do is say, we're not filming this week, we're going to get our shit together and restart, and it costs a lot of money to do that, but they'd rather do that than just tank their show, especially if it's like in that fragile period where it could or could not be renewed.
I just always worry about it becoming systemic, where they're just like, well, I think what it is we're worried about the fate of one of the people, and like instead of like giving us like a little pinky flinch or something like that, so we know they have to go to, and then this happened, and it's like, oh, son of a.
Yeah, you don't want the and then this, you want the but this. The but this is the stakes, and then this is a kid trying to figure out a story.
Yeah, it's like a kid with the ums and ands.
Yep.
It's like, just take a second, get your thought together, and then we'll go forward. And instead it's like but and this, and it's like, oh, come on, you're better than that.
Yeah, and that's the hardest skill that, like, especially I had to learn in college, was like, you cannot do the and then this happens and then this happens. You have to have action reaction, and that reaction has to be an action. And if you can't afford a fight scene, you have to make sure that through the dialogue, whatever the individual wants, the other person either doesn't want to give it or doesn't understand what's going on or has their own reason for resistance. And that's how you create that, like, lean in moment without having to use spectacle, flash, or jump scares, or in other words, like, I'm just going to let my sister, who's killed 5 people thus far, go away. And
there's some show I was watching. Sorry, I'm not trying to stop over you, Drew, but they kind of got into the bad habit of it was Hannibal. I tried watching Hannibal.
Oh, yeah.
I had to stop because they were relying on the music and the sounds and the bass pulses to tell you. So it's like, no, I can obviously see what's going on. He's building this. He's like figuring out what happened there. But like, I'm trying to watch this movie, and instead it's like, whoom, whoom, whoom. It's like, okay, I get it. Once was good enough. Yeah, it seems like that's starting to become a set piece that they're using instead of just letting the story play on its own.
Oh, I've got some stories about Hannibal. That show,
dude. I had to stop at episode 4 or 5. Like, it just, like, I love Mads, so like anything for him I watch. But I'll leave the floor.
Have you seen Polar, man?
Yeah, Mads is he's kind of like the spokesperson for my religion, so I always try.
Like, I want Mads to play freaking Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid movie so bad.
Oh, that's a good
dude. I never even thought about that.
Yeah,
I'll capitulate. I'll give the floor back to Drew.
Yes.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, because it's time for us to take off. So I just wanted to really quickly go around the horn. If anybody's got final thoughts, Script Doctor, what do you have going on?
Well, right now there's some people upset that I kind of called out Tom King for trying to compare himself to Frank Miller. And I was encouraging him to do better, and they're just like, don't shit on him. And I'm like, I'm not really shitting on him, but okay, whatever. Like, if you like him, that's fine. He hasn't done a good job in the comics, in my opinion. Granted, Batman hasn't been done well for a while, and I have great respect for Scott Snyder. I've talked with him many times about stuff and how to start. And the only reason Tom King's writing Batman and I'm not is because I'm a Canadian citizen, and DC Comics does not hire anyone that is not a U.S. citizen or at least has a prolific established career in comics from another country. And I got that from Jim Lee's mouth. Even though he loved my pitch and really wanted to do it, and we couldn't find a legal way where I could without me getting a green card or marrying someone in the U.S.
Sucks.
But the good news is that we do have a little contract agreement, which means he's not going to do my story without me. So if I can find a way to get that, I'm totally hitting that up and doing that. So
yeah.
You
can marry me, BB. I'll be your
green card for 2019.
I was gonna say, hey, we'll go full Mormon and we'll just all be poly. We'll do poly and we'll all
polyamorous.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy with that because just with one constructive critique, Tom King blocks me, and I'm like, wow, it's never been that easy before ever.
That's great.
I was hoping I'd get some backstory on that. I'm glad. You felt that.
It's like I hit close to home with something. Like he's been told that in private somehow.
That's funny.
Because I mean, I've said some stuff like in my normal accounts that's a bit more cruel, and to people who I respect and like, and they didn't even threaten to block me. They didn't even block me. They're just like, you know what? I can think about that for a bit. Or I get a DM from them. It's like, hey, that was a little bit too harsh. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'll apologize publicly, but that's what I felt. And he's like, you know what? Let's talk more. And then we would talk a little bit and then reconcile. But I've never had any writer just go smack me out and just block me just for one tweet.
But that means you're good though.
Impressive. You got.
He went out like a bit.
Collar. Collar really beautifully.
All right. So, Brian, what do you got going on? Anything on your channel? Anything?
I know I've been kind of lacking lately. I haven't really posted any gaming videos, but I kind of went on a data hoard, and I kind of used up too much of the data, so I'm trying to be a little more nice about it. But I've got some stuff with Mad Squirrel. It's going to be up on Sunday. I'm going to be on her chat Saturday night. So if y'all want to stop by, if any of y'all know Mad Squirrel, she's excellent content with her, and it's always a very friendly and positive place, and we always encourage people. It's like one of the reasons I'm pushing so hard with SD, trying to help other people find them. I'm like, cool, but don't sit there and soapbox unless you can explain why it sucks, or you're gonna explain how to fix it. But yeah, just I'll post up some more gaming videos for y'all.
Awesome, I look forward to that.
Our special guest, Mike, aka Geek in Disguise. What you got going on your channel?
At the moment, nothing.
All right.
I actually went on hiatus for a little bit, and I've been kind of content. What do you call it? Creativity blocked. Because it's like every time I try to make a video, I look and it's like, okay, 3,000 other people just made this video.
Right. Oh no, I think it'd be fun to see you do something with like comparing the Love Guru to other Bollywood films. I know you stepped away from Bollywood a bit, but
yeah, I was actually kind of contemplating, kind of drifting back into like reactions on a small time basis, mostly more just like covering more diverse content, not just one specific, and getting back into my movie reviews. But I'm holding out because in 2 weeks, Red Dead Redemption 2 hits PC, so I'm probably gonna start streaming Red Dead.
Oh, dude! If there's cross-platform, I'll definitely sync up with you if you want to do some online work.
Yeah,
I'm not high level, but
right now I
like growing.
I've just been like being a Twitter personality, trying to build my Twitter audience back up because I was over 1,000 followers, but then Twitter decided to be a jackhole, and when I used to post links to my reactions, they dinged me and suspended my account. When I came back, I was missing like 600-700 followers. So I'm trying to build that back because Twitter is like Twitter's a big boost for content.
It's a
man.
fickle beast, man. It's kind of like
It
YouTube.
really is.
You drop off for like a week and try and regroup and get your stuff together, and like you've lost 5 people. But
And that's more to do with the algorithm than it is for like the people themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and it bothered me when I got suspended because Twitter was my #1 source of traffic.
Well, guys, make sure that you check out Geek in Disguise. Love him up, sub to his channel, everything else.
Yeah, bro.
And finally, Rosetta, what do you got going on your channel?
Same as every week. After we finish here, I hop over and do what was my normal Thursday stream an hour after it normally was because I changed it so we could do this.
Aww.
So everybody that's on this panel have an opportunity if they want to come hop in at some point during this stream, and I basically just throw it open to a bunch of us night owls and we goof around and have fun.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, and me and Hoff Solo over at Hoffcast are going to be doing a weekly show now. So
yeah, he was saying about that last night. He was excited to work with you more.
Yes. So we're going to get that going and see how that goes.
Yeah. And I'm going to be on the Exaggeration Nations stream tomorrow night, I think at 10 p.m. Going to be talking with those guys. Yeah. The guy, he just posted something. He's like, "Hey, who wants some stuff exposure?" I'm like, "I could use some. I almost have 30 subs." So
yeah, I hit 60 this week, and I was like, "Oh, why? Little me."
Yeah, I have. I think I have like all of 30. I don't.
You got 41 right now, which is pretty good.
Like, that's a good jump this week.
That is a good jump. Yeah.
Well, at any rate, on my channel, guys, pretty much the only thing I got new is the other day I did my first ever YouTube video, which big props to Geek in Disguise over there. He gave me some constructive criticism on it and helped me out, and he's a good guy. And that's why
I wanted to share with you.
That's why I invited him on.
Your audio settings for your mic output. Like what I found best worked for my setup, because you said you have a Blue Yeti, is 80 on your mic for Windows settings, and then I'd say like 65 to 70% on your whatever stream.
OBS.
Yeah, OBS. Yeah, kind of keeps a good balance, so you're not like too loud, but you're not.
Yeah,
too
there's
low.
a lot of people that come into these panels and try and do their content, and they're like I'm a DJ, like I went to school for it, and then like it kills me to hear like audio levels way out, and it's like, I'll help you.
Yeah, that happens with my stuff because I just got a really crappy mic.
Well, the funny thing is I got my degree in broadcast communications as well, but
nice.
I keep my I mean, with us being like on-air personalities, we're always going to have our mics lower than higher. So we err on the side of low because you're taught not to have that thing red line.
Yeah, if you hit the limit, it just becomes blatted distortion, and you start to get the echoes.
Before mine starts, so bye guys.
Okay.
Later.
See you later, Zeta.
So anyways, guys, thank you for checking out our stream tonight. We do this every Thursday. We have our handy dandy panel, and we always have a special guest. I have an idea who I'm going to try to track down for next week, and I got a feeling that quite possibly, if I can twist his arm enough, perhaps Geek in Disguise can become more of a regular panel member, and maybe we can be a fivesome.
That'd be pretty cool, yeah.
So we'll go from there. But until next week, guys, take care, and we will have fun. And see you then.
Yes, thanks, guys.
And by the way, chat, next week, even though it's a couple days after Halloween, we will probably have fun and have some Halloween top 10 lists, top 10 Halloween games, top 10 horror movies.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be cool. So we'll have some fun with it next week. So see you then, chat. Peace.
Later, guys.